Imagine being able to make a phone call without a SIM card, without airtime, and without connecting to any mobile network. It sounds like something straight out of a science fiction film. Yet it's happening in Africa today, made possible by a young innovator from Namibia. His name is Simon Petrus, and at just 29 years old, he's challenging the very foundations of how we think about communication technology. In a world where giant telecom companies dominate, and rural communities are often left behind, Simon has created something extraordinary, a device that allows people to communicate. Where there is no signal, no network coverage, and no conventional infrastructure. For millions of Africans living in isolated areas, this invention could be life-changing. Simon's journey began far from any modern laboratory. Growing up in a small Namibian town with limited resources, he was the kind of child who couldn't resist dismantling old radios and broken electronics to see how they worked. Using nothing but salvaged parts, raw determination, and a corner of his home as a makeshift workshop, he started experimenting. No funding, no investors, just sheer persistence. His creation works without a SIM card or cell towers, instead relying on radio frequency technology similar to walkie-talkies, but redesigned for modern communication. The result is a phone capable of sending and receiving clear voice transmissions over long distances, without depending on mobile infrastructure. For remote villages where phone connectivity is either too expensive or entirely absent, this is revolutionary. It could allow farmers to access market prices, students to learn remotely, and families to stay connected without costly airtime or service plans. The road to success wasn't easy. Simon endured multiple setbacks, from burnt circuits to failed prototypes, and he faced constant skepticism from those who thought his idea was impossible. But he pressed on. His big break came when he showcased his invention at a national science fair, stunning judges and winning first place. What looked like a modest box of wires was, in reality, a groundbreaking communication tool. Engineers and scientists who once doubted him began to take notice. Many admitted they wouldn't have believed it possible without seeing it firsthand. This is more than just a technological achievement. It's a symbol of African innovation, thriving without foreign aid or Silicon Valley funding. It's proof that life-changing solutions can come from the most unexpected places. Simon's work stands as a reminder that talent and brilliance are not limited to wealthy nations. They exist in Africa's towns, villages, and classrooms, waiting for a chance to shine. History is filled with examples of African ingenuity that either went unrecognized or was claimed by others centuries ago. Skilled metal workers in what is now Tanzania developed advanced iron smelting techniques. Long before Europe's industrial age, ancient Egyptian doctors performed complex surgeries and documented medical knowledge that influenced later civilizations. Yet much of the credit went to Greek scholars. Ethiopia's ancient grain, teff, cultivated for thousands of years, was nearly exploited by foreign patents in the 2000s. Mathematical tools like the Ishango bone from Central Africa, estimated to be over 20,000 years old, show that Africa's contributions to human progress run deep. Simon Petrus is part of this long tradition, a living example of what happens when African innovators are given the freedom to create. His device doesn't just connect voices, it connects possibilities, bridging gaps left by profit-driven infrastructure. It's not just a phone, it's a statement that Africa can and will write its own technological future. The mathematical skills of ancient African civilizations were remarkable. Some artifacts show knowledge of prime numbers, complex counting systems, and even possible connections to lunar calendars. In Mali, the Dogon people have preserved sophisticated astronomical understanding for centuries, including details about the Sirius star system, knowledge that Western science only confirmed recently with advanced telescopes. Sadly, such insights were often dismissed as myths or later claimed by outside researchers following colonial contact. Africa's architectural achievements tell an equally powerful story. The stone ruins of Great Zimbabwe, dating back to the 11th century, are a testament to advanced engineering. Built without mortar using precise stone stacking techniques, The city was home to tens of thousands of people. Yet, early European settlers refused to believe that Africans could have created such a marvel, wrongly attributing it to foreign civilizations until archaeological evidence proved otherwise. Agriculture has long been another area of African ingenuity. Across the continent, dozens of crops such as sorghum, millet, coffee, yams, and kola nuts were domesticated independently of other regions. These plants later spread worldwide, enriching other nations, often through systems of exploitation that left African farmers marginalized. Techniques like intercropping and soil preservation, developed by African communities over centuries, were ignored by colonial-era scientists, only to be rediscovered later and promoted under new names as modern innovations. In medicine, the knowledge held by traditional healers has been invaluable and often exploited. For instance, the Hoodia cactus, used for generations by the San people of southern Africa to suppress hunger during long hunts, was studied by a South African research council and later commercialized by pharmaceutical companies abroad without proper consent or benefit sharing. Only after public outcry was an agreement reached, but it remained a glaring example of biopiracy, where valuable indigenous knowledge is taken without fair acknowledgement or compensation. These are not isolated cases, they reflect a broader, historical pattern in which African creativity and invention were ignored, erased, or rebranded as Western progress. From colonial resource extraction to modern intellectual property disputes, Africa's contributions to global advancement have too often been unrecognized. But today, that is beginning to change. A new wave of African innovators is stepping forward, reclaiming their heritage and shaping solutions for the future. Simon Petrus's invention is part of this movement. His achievement shows that Africa's future will not be imported. It will be built by the continent's own thinkers, creators, and problem solvers. To make that future possible, we must support innovation from the ground up. That means investing in local talent, creating labs and research spaces in our own communities, and building networks, both technological and human, that help innovators thrive. Simon's work is proof that groundbreaking solutions can come from anywhere, even from the most modest beginnings. The revolution shaping Africa's next chapter isn't coming from abroad, it's rising from the streets, workshops, and classrooms of the continent itself. If we share these stories, support our inventors, and push for policies that protect and promote African innovation, then the world will finally see Africa not only as the birthplace of humanity, but also as the birthplace of some of the world's most important inventions. Join the conversation, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to be part of a growing community that's committed to telling Africa's real story, one that celebrates its history, culture, and unstoppable spirit of invention.